cheaper than nuclear. It's well cheaper than renewables. And what kept the power companies in the United States from wanting to build nuclear plants in the 1990s, sure, it was a little bit of environment, but it was basically, natural gas cost $2 per million BTU throughout the 90s. Why would anyone build anything like that? And in the years 1998 to 2002, we built more natural gas plants than the entire installed capacity of Japan, leading to natural gas prices to go up.
Plus, we were getting more efficient all that time. The energy intensity here was going down.
Let's get one more question, please. Do you have a microphone over here? 2 questions, if you can keep it short. We'll get one after you.
Thank you. Stewart, you mentioned fast reactors, nuclear 2.0, I think you called it. I'm interested from the panel, what you see in the potential there, what kind of time frame, what the international competitive issues are in investing in R&D in fast nuclear. And from Michael, I'd be interested in your perspective on that as well.
I'd like to hear from the specialists on that one.
Well, I would just say, I'm a businessman. I have to try. It's tough enough to get my investors to work on something that's got a 6-year permitting process and a 4.5, 5-year construction project. I have to explain to my investors why I'm spending all this money on something that's not going to produce revenue until 2016. I don't really get involved in something that's not commercial right now. That's for other people to get involved in. So,
one thing that James Hansen, whose book Storms of My Grandchildren is quite wonderful, it's a NASA climatologist, is saying, look, we've got, $26 billion that have accumulated to take care of nuclear waste. What is that number?
It's huge.
Something like that.
There's a number, actually, the corpus is now $30 billion, earning $1.5 billion interest that stays on the government books, right?
Now, there's an investment.
On the people that paid in. Yeah.
And anyway, Hansen's perspective on the 4th generation is what he wants to really swarm ahead, and he wants the Obama administration to do that, and Stephen Chu is partway there, and so on. So what he suggests is take that money and move ahead with basically people in China and India to move where we don't have this legacy apparatus of having to swim through treacle to get anything new done, to develop the technology with some of that money in China and India, where we really want clean energy to happen anyway, with the understanding that as it goes forward, as it works out, if it works out, then we also participate and we can build on what has been proven in those places. And we've already got the money, in a sense, to do that, because if we get the fast reactors, then that waste goes there instead of in Yucca Mountain or the WIP or somewhere else.
Okay. And this is, as a business thing, this is an obligation of the government. They were supposed to take this material years ago. They have a huge pot of money. It could be used for any of a variety of these purposes, and it's enough to do it. Mm-hmm. But it's a great opportunity. We can reduce the volume, the current volume, by 4 or 5 times, which gives us lots of space to build new facilities without having to build a lot of new storage locations. So, and we've proven we can manage the material safely, right? When have you heard in America of somebody being injured, let alone killed, from the management of nuclear fuel? It hasn't happened. It took us 30 years to find that out, but it hasn't happened.
We are over time here by 1 minute, but since we're headed into a break, let me take one more question from the audience.
I think Michael wanted to say something on that. Is it?
I challenge the nuclear industry's safety record, and we have to do that. We've got security guards at Indian Point falling asleep at 2:00 in the afternoon, 30 miles outside of New York City. It's just irresponsible for us in an age of terrorism to talk about how the nuclear industry is safe. There's an article in the Washington Post yesterday about weapons-grade plutonium being stored in Chile at a storage locker, a temporary storage locker you can open with a household key. Mm-hmm. There are such significant risks in terms of basic national security that we just should not be taking the safety record of the nuclear industry for granted.
Are you saying shut the industry down? Because the club used to say that.
I'm saying that there is no evidence to expand the industry, weak evidence to expand the industry, but I think that shutting it down is we need to phase out coal first before we look at nuclear power.
Since I committed that one last question, let's get that, and then we really do need to wrap up.
My question was actually related as to whether or not there's an analytical threshold of risk where, say, environmentalist groups would be able to say, okay, this meets the risk threshold for environmental safety, or this meets the risk threshold for environmental impact, versus the impact of the next best alternative, which is either, the costly approach of trying to scale up all of solar and wind, including land clearing and things like that, or the alternative of having 40% carbon-based natural gas. So is there an analysis there that says this is where we need you to get to in order for us to accept this form of clean energy?
Well, yeah, there is an analysis, but it's based on a variety of factors, which is why I was trying to simplify it into a set of rules in terms of what is the cheapest, what is the quickest, what is the safest, and what is the fourth rule, which I'm forgetting right now. But it was a good one, and I talked about it earlier. So we basically have to balance a whole set of factors in terms of as, let's say, the next generation of nuclear power plants come online, we should be looking carefully at the cost and who's bearing the costs. We should be comparing from a cost perspective what an equivalent investment would be in solar thermal power, large-scale wind farms, even distributed solar, geothermal, et cetera. Then combining that with a whole set of analysis on safety issues. What are the respective safety issues associated with nuclear power versus...
There is a lot of that analysis out there, though. But if you want to then distill through it, what you come up with is nuclear, wind, solar, geothermal efficiency. Way low when you add it all up, and you find marginal differences between them. Marginal. Natural gas up a notch, coal, oil up a bigger notch. And I don't care which studies you looked at. I've looked at them all. That's where you come out. It's just this desire to segregate nuclear out of this low equation that's the political debate. But as a matter of representation, if you were in the bluest of blue states, Maryland, where we're from, this panel is representative. You have 80% approval in Maryland, a blue state, for new nuclear. And I think that's where the country's going. The world is already ahead of us.
All right, there's no fair way to end this conversation. Everybody would like to have a final word, but let me make a quick announcement here. For our virtual audience, we've added another concurrent session. If you'd like to attend it at 2 p.m., it'll be here in the ballroom, so I guess it's the actual live audience can attend as well. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. The name of that session is The Greenest Data Center is the One You Do Not Build. Dell leveraged existing technology to eliminate the need to build a new computing environment, minimizing environmental impact while saving hundreds of millions of dollars, and we'll have a couple of people from Dell here to talk about that. Thank you very much, David. Thank you, Stewart. Thank you, James. Thank you, David. And especially thank you, Michael, for your bravery here today. Well done. Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thanks.
Hey,